Blessed love and greetings, all my viewers and subscribers. Big up myself, all my fans. Everyone's. I hope all is well. I will not take care of yourself. You know what I mean? I protect yourself from this coronavirus or this corona pandemic. You know, follow the right procedures. Stay home, mask up and everything. You know what I mean? But anyway, my people, you don't know. This doctor, he's a Jamaican born. Base resides in the United States of America. You know what I mean? And he's here giving his experience of what he's seen in the hospitals, and he's giving advice also of what to do, you know what I mean, procedures to follow, you know what I mean. And yeah, that's very good of him, you know. Enough people must come out giving advice and everything there. And it's really good for say now is the time to come together worldwide. You see me, because Sister Babylon try to get we out, you know. Yeah man, the government them try to get we out. And the only way that have to release them virus, you know what I mean? To start the new world order and everything. But here what the doctor have to say make sure you like, comment, subscribe and click the bell. But most of all, share the message, make someone else hear.
Hi guys, I'm Dr. Kenneth Hall. I'm a Jamaican-born surgeon that lives in New York. And as most of you know, this is the epicenter of the coronavirus pandemic. For this video, I just wanted to focus primarily on my West Indian people, my Caribbean people, as it relates to how they're faring, and I would like to make some recommendations relating to dieting, prevention, and also talk about some updates. What is the latest information? Mask versus no mask, social distancing, does it make sense? And some of the other tips that I've learned over the past several months talking to friends and colleagues all over the world. So let's get right into it. So coronavirus, particularly COVID-19, this is the main cause of this pandemic that we have now. And one of the main modes of transmission is through the air. Cough, droplets, airborne, aerosolized conditions, all three. We've seen all of these means. And that's why they're purported social distancing, because they believe the further you are from an infected person, the less the risk. And it does make sense to some extent. 6 feet may not be enough. We've seen cases where up to 27 feet, if somebody coughs or sneezes, droplets and liquid can go that far actually. We do know that the coronavirus does particularly enter the body through the nose or the mouth, going to the upper respiratory tract and ultimately into the lungs. Most people who are affected will have some type of inflammatory response, and typically you'll see fevers. That's the most common sign. And later on, depends on your immune system and depending on what's going on with you, whether you have medical problems or you're elderly, you may have secondary findings such as shortness of breath, and that is primarily related to the amount of fluid that's produced in the lung. Now, you do have what you call white blood cells, and the main purpose of white blood cells are to fight infections, fight viruses, and fight bacteria. Oftentimes, there's an overwhelming response, and that's typically what we see in these coronavirus COVID-19 patients. There's an overwhelming response. The body produces a lot of chemicals, which causes severe inflammation in the lung and the difficulty breathing. So in short, you're basically drowning in your own secretions. And it's not necessarily the virus, it's just a response from your body to the virus. So what can you do? Now, there are different medications, there's different therapies. I don't think anyone have the right answer for it. They're working on vaccines, but so far nothing is 100% effective. We know that there's some benefit from some patients with anti-malarial medicines and drugs, and we have tried it and we have seen some improvement in some of these patients. But I also like to talk about some of the other avenues in which we can boost our immune system, especially as people of West Indian origin. We grew up eating certain foods and vegetables and fruits, and just some knowledge, some basic knowledge can help improve your overall immune system and probably reduce the chance that you'll get some of these infections. We don't know for sure, and by no means am I trying to replace your primary care doctor or the advice from the government, but this is just common sense information that most of you already know. So let's talk about something that's very important to me. I've seen in the past several weeks that family, friends have been very stressed. It's a very high stress state and high anxiety state, and of course that's very reasonable under the circumstances. People are dying daily all over the world from this virus, and it seems that there's no end in sight. So I've coined this term. I call it CIA, corona-induced anxiety. And believe me, sometimes I think I have it. Oftentimes I cough, I sneeze, I believe, oh my gosh, I have the coronavirus, and I'm freaking out, and my heart rate increases, I'm constantly stressed. You know, people are going through this all over the world. They believe they have the virus, number one, or secondly, they're confined to their homes. There's not enough activities. There's no end in sight. People have this overwhelming sense of doom. Like, what is going on? Like, we're losing control. And most of you are touched in one way or another, whether directly or indirectly. It's hard to find a person that's not affected by it. I remember a couple of weeks ago, I knew no one. Now I have family members, I have friends, I have people intubated on ventilators fighting for their life right now. I have doctors, lawyers. This disease basically no boundaries. Rich, poor, white, black, Indian, Chinese, whatever it is, this can affect you. So protection and prevention is key. You know, stay home. If you don't have to go out, stay home. That's the most important prevention. And this thing about mask, me personally, I wear mask everywhere I go, sometimes two. You know, we're on the front line. We have to take care of patients with COVID-19. We just have to be suited up, gowned up, be smart, cover your ears, your eyes, wherever you go. I see people walking around in the supermarkets all over the place, not enough protective gear. Believe me, it does not make sense. Whether or not these things work, why not be safe? Common sense measures will save your life. So my recommendation is wear a mask all the time, wear it properly, because you never know when you may come in contact with somebody. And this disease is particularly virulent because the latency period is different. In some diseases, you'll get sick right away. With the coronavirus, there are many patients who are active carriers, and we have 5-6 days with no symptoms. And some patients are symptomless, but they can be asymptomatic carriers, meaning they can pass it to somebody else without even knowing. So you can actually go home, infect your entire family, and not even know it. So that is the problem with this. And for some people, it's rapidly proliferative. So in 24 hours, you can be very sick, very, very sick. So you have to be very careful. So prevention is key in this regard. I think, again, your diet has a lot to do with your immune system. So I'm going to go over a couple of things before. You know, recently I saw an article, I believe, in the New York Post about this Jamaican guy. I think his name was Rayburn Fairweather, and I really commend him because I know he's on the front lines. He's a respiratory therapist at one of the hospitals in New York, and you know, he got the coronavirus in a very short period of time. There's certain cocktails and regimens that he used, and it really helped boost his immune system. So I'll spend a minute or so going through some of the stuff that I do personally on a daily basis to kind of help protect me with this situation and this crisis. So the first thing, I do a chewable multivitamin. I think is very important. In my case, I do it organic just because I think it's better. Chewable, I think absorb is better. Gel caps are also good, and also liquid multivitamins, but that's limited by the taste, and a lot of people can't really deal with the taste. Airborne, I think this is really good. Also, emergency, you can get that at your local pharmacy, CVS, or wherever you are. I think that's good. Anything to boost your immune system. TF Life, I drink every day. I've been drinking this for many years. Pleasure Brand, similar ingredient. I've been drinking that also. I try to exercise. I try to run. Whatever you can do to boost your immune system. So do exercises at home as much as you can. Read. Now is a good time to pick up reading. Get your family closer together. Bond more. Pray together. This is a difficult time, but we can together. We can united beat this dreaded virus. I also like to address certain other things that I believe is effective. I drink kale juice with ginger, green apples, and kale. Well, I'm sorry, kale, green apples, ginger. I think is very good. You can also add a touch of turmeric. There's some people purporting that lime juice works very well. We know, based on certain evidence, that vitamin C has a very effective role in helping to fight certain viruses. I've received intravenous vitamin C before, but that's difficult to get. So you have all these fruits and vegetables back home. Have all your, as much as you can in terms of your oranges, your citrus fruit, etc. This will help boost your vitamin C intake. Also zinc. There's a lot of studies that tell you that zinc is really good in fighting infections, particularly virus infections. So improve your zinc, take your vitamin C, exercise, and I believe ultimately that will boost your immune system. And of course, stay away. You know, I don't want to make this video any longer, but at some point I'll do some other parts as more information come out relating to coronavirus. But you know, if you have to leave your house for any reason, and of course you have to go to the supermarket, you have to buy food sometimes you have no choice. If you have to go, like we say in Jamaica, walk good. If not, tana your yard. This is Dr. Kenneth Hall, hoping that I have shed some light on this information. Stay tuned, I'll be releasing more videos to break it down in a nutshell for everybody to be able to understand. God bless us all. Thank you very much.
Alright, my viewers and subscribers, I hate that, you know. Yeah, man, it's very interesting though. Big up the doctor again. Thanks for sharing the information, you know what I mean, to the world. You see it, so yes, my people and my fans, big up on yourself and take care. If you can't be good, be safe. Turn your yard. Only go outside if you have to. Yeah, man. Don't give Babylon a 3 points so easy, yeah? Peace and love. I'm out.